Hi all, welcome to Selenium WebDriver framework with Java online training session 70. So today I will try to cover the remaining topic from the TestNG framework. In the previous 3 sessions I already covered important topics from the TestNG framework. The remaining topic like how we can use the listener in TestNG, how we can execute failed test case with the help of iRetry analyzer listeners, and how we can do parallel test execution in Selenium WebDriver with the help of TestNG framework. So these three topics today I will discuss. After that I will start Maven, where I will try to provide what is all about Maven, how we can install it, and how we can run sample program through Maven. After that, how we can create some TestNG project. So after that we can how we can create TestNG class, how we can convert the Maven project to TestNG, and how we can run the testng.xml file class with the help of Maven pom.xml file. So first we'll try to cover what is listener all about in TestNG. So listeners, the name suggests, as per the name you can see listeners. So listeners primary task is to listen to an event, define and react accordingly. Why listeners is important in TestNG? Because sometimes suppose some user wish to modify the behavior of TestNG during script development, and that can be done with the help of interfaces. These interfaces which help the user to do so is known as listeners. As you can see, as the name suggests, listener primary task is to listen to an event, define and react according to that. The main purpose for which listeners are used by the programmers is to create logs and create the custom reports according to specific scenario defined. There are a lot of listeners available in TestNG. A TestNG listener always extend org.testng.i.testng listeners, and TestNG provides user with the below listener types: I execution listeners, I annotation transformer, I should listener, I test listener, I configuration listener, I method interceptor, I invoke method listener, I hookables, I reporters. Right? So I will try to cover iTest listener, which is most commonly used, and if you know iTest listener, you also can be work with the iShould listener also. So there is no much difference. Only iTest listener is applicable for the test level, whereas iShould listener will be applicable for the should level. That is the basic difference. Other listener also used. If you know one listener how to use it, so you can also try with the rest of the listeners. Listener is an interface, you must need to remember. So whenever you are creating some class, we need to implement it, right? Because I already talked about, right? Whenever I want to extend, right? So if class to class it will be extends keyword, interface to interface it will be also extend keyword, but from class to interface it will be implements keyword, through which we can extend it. Each listener has specific methods that are overridden. So whenever we want to give some real-time example of Java polymorphism, right? For what two polymorphism is available? One is static, one is dynamic. So static or method overloading is a polymorphism, and one is method overriding. So listener, you can give the example listener which is overridden, right? So each listener has specific methods that are overridden. Most popular listeners are the methods which are overridden by them as mentioned below. So this is the two important listeners. I will cover only iTest listener. Once you know iTest, iShould will be similar. So in the iTest listener is one of the most commonly used listener in Selenium WebDriver. The programmer simply needs to implement the iTest listener interface and override all the method on the interface in order to use it. It makes the call before and after every test present in the shoot. There are several methods in which, like I have tried to mention it: on start, on finish, on test start, IT result, IT test result, on test failure, on test skip, on test success, on test failed but within the success percentage. On start and on finish will be at the starting of the method, all method, and starting of the finishing of the all methods. So the on start, this method is the first and foremost method that is called after the test class is instantiated. This is the class level attribute. It also can be used to retrieve the directory from which the testing is running. Similarly, on finish also, this is the last method to be called after all the overridden methods are done. It's also class level. Whereas on test start, other one will be at method level. So on test start, this method is called each time before any new test method. It indicates that a required test method is started. It is started only. It does not matter whether it's failing, passing or skipping. Every time any new method is started, it will just take into the consideration in the output result. On test failure, this method is called when any test method is failed, as it indicates the failure of the test. We can perform certain tasks on test failure like taking the screenshot when a particular test fails in order to get more deep inside the failure. So whenever we will create some framework from the scratch level, I will show how with the help of listener we can capture the screenshot in case it is failing or it is passing or it is skip like that. But now I will show you how we can use the listeners only for kind of giving some kind of logs and custom reports. Okay. Similarly, on test skipped, in case any test method is skipped, right, it will be called. On test success, in case any test method is getting passed, right, so it will be called. The programmer can perform and decide operation on the test method success by writing code inside this method. On test fail but within the percent success percentage. Okay, so this method is called when any test method is failed with some success percentage. Suppose here I tried to give some example. Suppose say any test method is executed 20 times, out of which 10 times fail, right? So it takes two parameters, success percentage and the invocation count. So 20 times it's run, but success percentage is 10 by 20 is 50%. So for the above case, success percentage is 50 and invocation count will be 20. So also it will also impact. So you can see for all these things which is running at the test level, method level, right? It is also having some kind of parameter. I test result, right? Where I am declaring result. But whereas for the first two, we can have only context. So I will show you how those affected. So on start and on finish, it will be only class level. Similarly, ITest should listener, unlike the ITest listener which implements after every test method, listener is implemented at the should level. It has two methods which to be overridden. One is on start, one is on finish. This method, on start method, is implemented before the invocation of the test should, which means all the codes written inside it's run before the start of the should. Similarly, on finish also it will run after whole should is run. So I should listeners will be should level, whereas I test listener will be test level. Okay, so how can we create the listeners? So there are two create and use the listener. There are two important ways to creating listeners using listener in the TestNG. First, definitely we need to create a listener class which will be implementing ITest listener, as will be using ITest listener interface, right? And overriding all the methods, right? So we'll be creating a class. After that, if we want to implement the listener in the normal Java or TestNG class, then we have to use the @listeners before the class level, right? After that we can run it from the XML file. Another way, we will be creating a listener class, implementing IT listener class. After that we will be creating some, right, test cases, okay, using @test annotation. After that we will update the testng.xml file, right, where we will be adding those listeners after the should level and before the test level, right? So that is called ITest listener, and in case it is before the should level, so it will be only applicable for the should level, not at the test case level. Okay, so let's try to see how it really impact in the real time. So Selenium training, there is a package I have created. Let's try to create a new Java class, right? So test listener. Okay, so I am creating a class which is test listener. So let's click on the finish. Okay, so first step is that I have to create a listener which is implementing ITest listener interface, right? So I need to implement it to ITest listener interface. I test. Let's press Control Enter. You can see all the thing, right? So I test ng, sorry, I test listener, not test ng, I test listener from the word.testng package, right? So you can see immediately cross sign is coming. Okay, so as cross sign is coming, let's try to import, right? As it is a implementing some interface, so we need to add all unimplemented method. You already know, right? In case I want to implement a class to interface which is abstract in nature, so I have to implement all unimplemented methods. So you can see this getting displayed. So all the methods, right? On test start, on test success, on test failure, on test skipped, on test failed but within the success percentage, on start and on finish. So you can see on start and on finish, it is I text context, right? It is coming, whereas for rest of the thing is I test result. Sorry, I test result. That is the variable by default is coming. Okay, so that's is whatever is coming from that thing I have already mentioned. On start, on finish, this is I context, and another one is I test result. On test start, failure, skipped, success, and failed but within the percentage, success percentage. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? 7 method by default it is coming. Now we can definitely override, right, for each and every method. Let's try to override whichever will be used. So suppose on start, right, I want to add something so that it will be displayed. SYSO, press Alt Enter. Suppose I want to display it. Test ng, test method started, right? After that it will try to give you the result, right, and the get name, the result, whatever method will be running it will give you. So that's why I can concatenate dot get name, anything you can get it, right? You can get name, you can get status, you can get test name. So I will try to get name. So it is also the I test result only. Return type is I test result, right? If you want to see it once again, let's try to result dot get name. You can see it is string and it is return type is I test result, so it is matching with that one, I test result, right? Okay, so it will give you that one, that is the text, and it will get test name. Similar way, right, whenever there is a success I can mark, change it, right? So test ng test method passed because it is success only, right? Similar way, if you want to give it for the failure one, you can give it test result failed. Okay, similar way, once it is skipped also you can give it test method skipped. So I am not giving anything for this one, this is complex. Okay, you can try later point of time. And similar way for that one, other one, right, it is at the test level, not at the method level. So test ng test method, or instead of that test ng test started, test ng test started, and here you will need to give it context dot, not the result, right, context dot test name, context dot get name. Sorry, where it is not test name, it is get name, only get name, not test name. Otherwise it will give you test name. So I want to get the test method name, so here it will be get name. So test ng test started, it is not the method, test ng test class, I can say context dot get name. You can see it's working fine. Similar way I can give it for that finish also, it will be also written, it is also context, right? Return type is I test context, so test ng test class finished. These last two are at the class level, whereas first 5 are at the rate of method level. Okay, so now let's try to create another TestNG class. Okay, training season 17. Okay, after that here try to write few programs, few methods, right? So let's public void test method 1. Okay, here I want to assert dot assert equal, just I want to check something. I want to check assert dot assert equal, suppose it's both is 10. I want to check, just that's why I want to create few methods. So I'll be trying to create 4 methods. One is test method 1, one is 2, one is 3, and one is 4. Okay, so let's fail it second method. Okay, let's pass it third one 15 and also last one also you can make it failed. So first one is getting passed, second one is getting failed, right? Third one is getting passed, but for the third one I want to make some dependency, right? Suppose which will be dependent on test method 2. So how we can add dependency? So at the rate of test annotation we need to use depend. If you do not know, just enter depend and press alt enter. So depend on method I will be using it, and equal to I need to give the method name, right? So test method 2 name I will be giving it here within the double quote. So that is the lines of code I have written. So I have created a class, TestNG class training 17. I have written 4 method, test method 1 where assertion will be passed, test method 2 where assertion will be failed, and test method 3 which will be dependent on test method 2. So definitely as it is failed, so it will be skipped, right? Okay, and test method 4 also it will be failed. Just let's try to run it from the TestNG XML file, or we can run it from here also, right? So let's try to run it from the TestNG class level. So you can see it will get the result. Though we have created a iTestNG listener class, but it will not be impacted because we did not add in the TestNG XML file, or we did not add it the class level also. You can see one is skipped, test method 3 because it is dependent on test method 2, whereas it is failed. Test method 1 is passed, test method 4 also failed. So you can see 2 is failed, 2 and 4, 1 is passed, and 3 is skipped because it is dependent on test method 2 which is failed. So in case anything is failed, it will not be passed, it will be only skipped, otherwise it will be passed. Now you can see no kind of thing is generated, right? Because only we can get the pass, fail or result, all this kind of result only. Okay, now in the TestNG XML file we can try to execute it, right? So we need to give the class name here, package name dot class name. What is my package name? So package name was Selenium training. That is the package name. So I will be updating the package name as well. So test name will be package name dot class name, right? Suppose here I can give anything, right? TestNG listeners, okay, TestNG suit, I can give it just. Okay, now if I want to run it from the TestNG XML file, same way it will be running, or okay, there will be no impact in the test result. So one test case will be passed, 2 will be failed, and 1 will be skipped. Same thing, 1 is passed, 2 and 4 failed, and 3 is skipped because it was dependent on test method 2 which is failed. Now you can see the result, right? Out of 4 run, 2 is failure, 1 is skipped. And you can see here is TestNG suit is the suit name, and TestNG listener is the test name, and package name dot class name, and this is the method name, right? It is coming from here. Now if I want to implement ITest listener, right, that interface, whatever listener class I have created with which is kind of implementing, right? Which is implementing the ITest listener interface. So how can I do it? This is two approach. User can use @listener here, right, before the class created, and where I need to give package name dot listener class name dot class. So let's try to use it. So before the class I will be using @listener. Okay, and here I need to give package name dot class name dot class. So this is the package name, sorry, listener class, right? So that is the listener class whatever I have created. This is the listener class I have created, right? So package name is Selenium Training. So I need to give the package name dot class name for the listener class whatever I have created. So and class name is test listener dot, okay, you can see it is coming, dot class. Okay, now you can see is error is there, so I need to correct it to listener, listeners. Okay, and I need to import it, right? Import listeners from org.testng.annotation. Okay, now let's save it, and now let's try to run it from the testng XML file, and let's see whether whatever implementation we have done, right, with the help of test listener class whatever you created with implementing ITest listener, whether it is affecting or not. Here you can see result is still same. Suite name is testng suite, class name, sorry, this is the test name, this is the package dot class name, these are the method name, right? But now if you go details here, you can see, right, you can see testng class started, right, testng listeners, it is the test name is coming, testng class started. Why it is coming? Because it is coming from the class level, right? So it will be run one time on start and on finish method, and it will be give you the context which is nothing but the test name. What is the test name? Test listener. So you can see testng class started, it is at the starting time of the class run, and also the on finish will be running at the last time, right? You can see testng class finished and also the class name. Now for the pass or fail method, you can see, so pass method will be passed, started will be there for every method, and pass, fail and skip will be only in case it is passed, fail or skipped. So test 1 is passed, right? So you can see for the test 1 started is coming and passed is coming. From the test 2 started is coming, failed is coming because it is fail, and for the test 4 started is coming, failed is coming. So started will be there for each and every method, and for the test 3 it is skipped, right? So started is coming and skipped is coming, sorry, skipped, that is the reason start is not coming, so it is not started, so it is skipped, right? And at the end it is coming at the class level annotation. So this is the two class level annotation. You can see ITest context is the class level annotation, otherwise rest is method level annotation which is ITest result. Okay, so started will be there for passed and fail, and in case it is skipped, method will not be started because it is skipped, right? And the class level will be coming here, right? Test class started, and it will give you the class name, whereas rest of the thing it will be give you method name, test method 1, test method 2, test method 4 and test method 3 is skipped. So that's why you can implement listeners. This is the one way. So now let's try to comment out that one implementation, only that part I will comment out. So I will try to run it with the help of other way. What is other way? Similar way, we need to create a class for the listener which will be implementing ITest, that will be same. We will be creating some test cases, first class, and we will be adding some test methods. Now we under the test suite will be adding those tags only, listeners, and then listener class name equal to package name dot class name, and then listeners tag will be introducing. So that's the thing we'll be adding it, right? Only this simple thing I will add in the test.ng file after the suit, before the test name. So here, okay, so I already added here. Okay, let's uncomment it. It was previously commented. Remove block comment. Okay, so after the suit label, listener tag and class name I have to give it, right? So test listener is the class name, and package name I have to give correctly. This is the package name, selenium.training. So I'll be giving it here. So this is the simple tag you need to add it at the pom.xml, sorry, test.ng.xml file after the suit name, before the test name, listeners tag, and also listeners tag ending, and listener. Under the listeners it will be listener, class name selenium.training. I test. In CAD it can have multiple listener also. That is the reason it is under the listeners tag, listener is coming, right? Class name package dot class name. Test listener is the class name, right? Now try to let's run from the test.xml file. So I did not implemented anything at the class level. Instead of that, I have tried to add them in the test.xml file level. So this is the two approach I can use the listener class. Just now try to run it from the test.ng suite. The same thing will be happen. Output will happen. There is no difference, but this is the two way. You can see test method 1 is passed, 2 and 4 is failed, 3 is skipped, right? You can see this is the output. Now if I want to check it, same thing. Started is the class level start and class name. Similarly end also, finished and class name. And for that one, right, whatever is passing failings, it will be started and passed. It is started, failed, it is started and failed. And whatever is skipped, it will not be started, only skipped. So that is the two different way through which we can use the listener class, right? Why we need to use the listener class? Okay, in case we want to create some logs or we need to create some custom report. So custom report I will show you in the framework session, and also suppose I want to add some screenshot, right? So in the listener class you will be adding the details. So for each and every listener, whatever operation you want to perform, if you want to custom any report for the past one or failed one, you can add it here. If you want to capture some screenshot here, you can add it. So that's why listeners will be important, right? Are important to the test.ng or Maven framework, right? Whenever you are creating any project, definitely with the help of test.ng, so you can add the listeners, and in each and every listeners, for each and every methods, whatever expected, right? You can add so many things. If you want to capture screenshot, if you want to customize that pass or fail like that, you can add it, and it will be impacted whenever you are running in the test.ng XML file. Okay. So any questions from the listeners topic? Okay, good. The next one, I will show you how we can execute failed test cases in test.ng with IOD try analyzer. So in the last time I already showed you, right? In case any test case is failed, I want to execute it. So if you refresh the project, so if you run it again from here, so all the test case will be run. But if I want to run it on the failed test case, so if you refresh it, there is options. I mean, there is a kind of test output folder will be generated where, right, there will be options called test.ng fail.xml. So if you want to run it from here, you can run it. So only failed test case will be run instead of all the test case. Now we'll show you how we can run failed test case multiple times. So why the test case is failed, I already told you in the last session. Sometimes there is a network issue, sometimes your network connection got disturbed, sometimes the object identification is not, maybe some problem is not able to identify, sometimes kind of synchronized issue, sometimes page loading is taking time due to internet network slowness. So that's time, that is the reason test cases can be failed. But if you run for the next time, it can be passed also. Okay. So test method will fail because of many reasons like uncertain behavior by the application, network issue, etc. To overcome the false failure, it is not the actual failure, means it is not the bug of the application, but it is some false failure. right? User may want to re-execute the failed test method. When a test fails, the retry method gets called and the retry methods will result in either true or false. In case user have a test method that is annotated with test analyzer, retry analyzer along with @test. So based on the result from the retry method, right, @test method decide whether it should try or not. If retry result is true, then it will try to re-execute the test method. If the false, then the test method will not be executed. Retry receives a parameter for test result. This will contain whether the test passed or not and the test method names based on the increment, the counter we are giving it. So first we need to create a class name which will be implementing iRetry analyzer interface. This is our interface. So we need to implement it. In the after that class we need to create two variables. Any variable you can give it. So once we will be starting with the 0 counter and it will go for maximum retry. If you give it from 1 to 5, it will run for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you give it 0 and 5 max retry, so it will start with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 6 times. So override the method called retry and write condition where it should enter to block only if case in case max retry greater than the current try. Obviously it should be greater than, otherwise there is no point. In case it is less than, so it will definitely not going to the negative one, right? Inside if blocks return 2, so I will try to show you how we can implement it, right? So let's try to create one more class, Java class. Retry, I can give it Java class name as retry listener, retry test. Okay, that is the class name I am giving. I am not selecting public static void method because it will be implementing something, and we are not running that class, right? Which will be implementing iRetry analyzer interface. I just give iRetry. Okay, sorry, implements keyword is not correct. Implements iRetry. Okay, or automatically it's come. iRetry analyzer, that is the interface. Okay, now you need to add unimplemented methods. Okay, you can see only this is coming. Okay, now here I need to give all the important details. So I am removing it. So by default you can see public boolean, that is the method is coming, where return type is result, itest result. Okay, so after the class levels I will be creating some variable as mentioned, right? Current try or max try, because it will be integer and I will be assigning the value, right? CURRE entry current try. You can start it from 1 or 0. So I will be starting it from 0, and then I will be getting another variable which will be also integer, right? Max try. How many time I want to retry, right? Max retry or try anything. Suppose I want to retry for 3 times, say. Not 3 times means 0 to 3 means 4 times. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So this is the variables I am declaring which is outside the methods. So that it will be kind of not a local variable. So it is a variables declared in the class level. Then here, right? So when I want to get the result, so I already given here everything, right? So in case it is only max try is greater, then only block will be executed or else not, right? So that is the reason I need to give some if condition. What will be the if condition? So max try should be greater, right? So current try should be less than to the max try. If is less than to max try, that means max try will be always more than the current try. So that is the condition I want to check. If condition is matching, then I want to increase my that variable current try. So current try will be plus. I want to increment 1 time, right? and also I want to return true, otherwise it will be false. So that is a simple thing I need to add in that particular class. So I will be creating a class which is retry, test, listen, anything, any class name you can give it, and which will be definitely implementing iRetry analyzer, because in that interface only I have that retry methods available. So that is the reason I can use all the unimplemented method. So by default it is coming, and here I am declaring two variable. One is current try, definitely whatever current run is running, right? So that is the current try, and max try I want to give it. Here you can change it 10 to 10 also. So it will be run for 11 times for the fail test case only. It is only for the fail, not for the skip, not for the pass one. It will only applicable for the failed one. Then here I want to check condition. If my max try greater than the current try, here I can give a less than condition. So current try will increment by 1 by 1. From 0 to 1 it will go. Even it is still found it is greater, so it will go to 2, 1, 2, 3 like that. So it will be running from 0, 1, 2 and 3, 4 times. Right? And it will be in case it is only return true. Otherwise it will go for the outside loop which returns false. So that is the simple thing I need to run it here. Okay. Then in the main class, right, let's try to remove that, or maybe let's try to comment one method. So I will keep two methods, three methods. Let's block comment, okay, or maybe also let's block that one also. So I'll be okay. Let's keep this three method. So this is the three method I have written in that main class, right? This is the main class, TestNG class. One is test method 1, which is also passed because it is assassin is getting passed. One is test method 2, which is also getting passed. One is test method 4, which also I want to make it passed. Okay, let's make it fail. Okay. So what happens? I already told, in case we are adding it at the test case levels, right? That listener, sorry, that iRetry listeners, right? Then only it will try to execute based on the minimum, based on the current try and max try I am giving it. But for the past one or the skipped one, it will not be impacted. Okay. So how we can add it at the class level? So for the past one also you need to give it. So at the rate test annotation you need to give retry analyzer. That particular thing you need to give. Retry analyzer equal to, okay, what you need to give? You need to give the class name dot class. That's the simple thing you need to give, dot class. You can see it is coming. Okay. So for the past test case also I want to give it. Similarly for one failed test case I want to give it, and for other failed test case I will not give it. So I will show you how this will impact it. So this is the three test case. One is test method 1 or test case 1, test method 2 or test case 2, test method 4 or test case 3. Okay. Let's copy paste in the last so that it will be better for it to understand. So this is the three test case I am having right now. Okay. Test method 1, 2 and 3, 4. So in the test method 1 it is getting passed, right? So it will not impact whether I am using iRetry analyzer or not, because it is passed. So there is no point of running it multiple times, because I want to run only for the failed test case, not for the passed or skipped one. Similar way, here it is failed, right? So it will try to run 4 times. It will start from 0 and it will go for 3, 0, 1, 2 and 3. And for the other failed test case, I am not using any retry analyzer. So it will only run for 1 time. So that's why it will run for total 6 times. For the past one, though you are entering the iRetry analyzer, but it will not run because it is passed. For the failed one, in case you are not using it, so it will only run for the 1 time, because it is a class level annotation. Sorry, method level, right? Test case level annotation, not the class level. Okay. It can be also used for the class level also, so it will try to run all the things instead of test case level. Okay. Let's try to run it, and you can run it from the TestNG XML file as well, right? So let's comment out the listener one, because listener one I am not using anymore, just I want to run it. So how many total times will run? it will run total 6 instances. One is for test method 1, because it is passed only, it will run one time. For the test method 2, it will run for 4 times from 0 to 3, and for the test method 4, it will run for only one time. So okay, you can see test method 1 it is passed, so it is running one time. Test method 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? And one will be failed and other will be skipped. Okay, because same thing it is failed, that is the reason it is getting skipped, and the 4 it is running for the one time. So that's why I can run it. Now instead of okay, so that will be only applicable at the test table only. Okay, now if you want to again also add it for the other failed test case also, right? So let's see the difference. So you can see total run was previously 6, because test method 2 ran for 4 times and pass one only ran for one time, and the fail one ran for one time because there was initially no listeners retry was given. Now I have given it, so it will run for one time, other 2 will run for 4 times. If you change it to also 5, right? So it will every failed test case will run from 6 times, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be running total 13 times. One method 1 is one time, and other method will be for 6 times. 6 and 6 equal 12, and another one will be 13. Let's try to run it here. So it will be 13 different instances. So 2 will be failed and 10 will be skipped, 1 will be passed. Okay, 1 is getting passed, 2 is fail. Maybe let's try to run it once more time and let's see what any kind of problem is happening. Okay, so sometime it does not update the result properly, so you need to run once time. You can see total run is 13, failure 2 and skip 10, right? Okay, now do one thing, let's pass all the test case. Let's try to pass it. So what will happen? So all the test case is passed, so it will only run for one time, because it will not affect the part test case. In case the test case is fail only, so it will be only affect. So it will, all the test case will be passed and it will run only 3 times, right? So let's try to pass it. So you can see there is no impact of the I retry listener, right? Unless there is a failure and you are not adding it the class levels, sorry, at the test level, so there is no impact. It's 3 run, right? 3 run and all are passed. So that's why I can use, right, I retry analyzer is in class, right, to run it multiple times for the failed test case. Any questions? Is it understandable?
It's fine.
Okay, cool. So this is really two important topics which is related to listeners only. Okay, because it will be you need to implement in the real time project these both the listeners class. Then I will show you how we can do parallel test execution in Selenium WebDriver, right? So in the Selenium WebDriver, I already told multiple times, Selenium support parallel or distributed testing. Means if you want to run suppose 5 test case using 5 thread, so every thread will take 1 test case. Okay, so instead of suppose say 5 test case, if you want to run it in a single browser, it will take suppose say 10 minutes. But if you want to run it using 5 thread, so it might take 3 minutes time. So you can save the time. That is the reason parallel or distributed testing is really important, even if you can run with multiple browsers or multiple ways also. So parallelism or multi-threading in software terms is defined as the ability of the software operating system or the program to execute multiple parts or subcomponent of another program simultaneously. So instead of waiting, so we will try to work them parallelly. So it will take less time. Obviously utilization will be more and it will take really less time. In the real time, if you want to execute 500 test case, there is short span of time, so you can go with the parallel testing approach. You can maybe use different systems, different browsers at the same time, so it will help you to reduce the overall timeline cycles, right? Total time. TestNG allow the test to run in parallel or multi-threaded mode. This means that based on the test suite configuration, different threads are started simultaneously and the test methods are executed in them. This gives a user a lot of advantage over normal execution. Why? Because the primary thing is that it will reduce the execution time and the ability to verify multi-threaded code. So that is the reason multi-threading is really important for the parallel testing. That is the reason I have given focus on the thread, right? Multi-threading, because that will help you to do the parallel testing of the distributed testing. So parallel test execution is vastly used by the QA industry for the functional automation testing or the regression testing. This feature helps QA to configure their test to be executed easily in multiple browsers or operating systems simultaneously. TestNG provides an auto-defined XML files where user can set the parallel attribute to methods, tests or classes, and by using concept of multi-threading of Java, one can set the number of threads. So that is the annotation. So here we are giving only the suite name, right? In the TestNG XML file, you can see suite name. But if you add, right, parallel test, parallel is equal to method or test, and you need to give the thread count. So that many thread will run all the test cases. Okay. So below is the structure already there. So apart from suite name, you need to give two more important keyword. One is parallel equal to method, test or classes or instance, and thread count you have to use. So methods helps run method in separate thread. Test helps to run all method belonging to the same tag in the same thread, whereas classes help to run all method belonging to a class in a single thread. Instances help to run all methods in the same instance in the same thread. Along with the parallel attribute, the thread count attribute helps in defining the number of threads one wishes to create while running the test in parallel. For example, in case one has 4 methods, okay, with thread count as 3. So what happens? So definitely 3 thread will pick up 3 test case, and whatever will be remaining, it will be taken by the another ideal thread, or whatever thread is completing work first, so that will take the another one. Okay. So example, in case one has 4 methods with 3 thread with thread count as 3, then during execution 3 threads shall start in parallel with the corresponding method. As the first method execution is completed and the threads get free, it takes up the next method in the queue. Okay. So just you need to add this syntax in the suite level, so to run with the threads parallel testing. So let's comment out this thing and let's try to go with some real time example. Otherwise, if you run it with the, I will not try to get anything and do anything. Let's try to create 3 or 4 classes here. So just I want to comment out or the test case. So I will write more test case. Okay. So here try to create more test case. One test case I will be creating called @test public void open Facebook. Suppose that is the one method I want to create. Okay. So you can see error message gone. Similar way, I want to create other 2 methods or 3 methods. Okay. So one is open Facebook, one is open Google, and one is open Rediff, and one is open Facebook and enter credential. Okay, so this is the 4th method I want to create. Now let's try to set the properties. So that is the lines of code for the Facebook one. I am just pasting. So I will show you. So first I am setting the properties for the Chrome drivers, right? And I am instantiating the Chrome driver. So I am importing the Chrome driver. I will be importing the web driver. Then I am maximizing the window. I am entering the Facebook page, and here you will get the Facebook page open successfully, and it will be give you the title of the page. It will quit the browser, right? Similar way, I want to open Google, so I will be passing it for Google. So here, instead of driver instance, I will be adding it driver 2. So it will be open another driver, not in the same driver. You can see the differences, right? So driver 2.get titles, and here you need to provide the, and also you need to quit the driver. So this will open another instance. So here it will be google.com, right? That is the page. So I want to give it for Google. So I'll be updating it. Facebook instead of Facebook, Google page will be open. Okay. Similar way, I want to set for the Rediff one. Open Rediff. So it will be driver 3. Driver 3 and everything will be driver 3. I want to set in new driver. So here it will be Rediff, and it is HTTPS for the Rediff one. HTTP Google, Facebook. Let's go for the Rediff. Let's try to search what is Rediff's URL all about. Rediff.com. If I open, or maybe I can go with Yahoo. Any URL is fine. Let's try to change with Yahoo. Okay. Let's give it Yahoo sign page. Instead of Rediff, I can give it Yahoo. And here I can change it to Yahoo, and also change it to Yahoo, open Yahoo page. Okay. If you remove that one, let's see whether it's working or not. If you remove that part. Okay, still it's working. So I can remove that part. Now I want to another page I want to open for the Facebook, which will be in the, instead of Chrome browser, it will be Firefox browser, right? So I need to change the properties for the Firefox. So you can see it is a Firefox. So I will be adding it for Firefox. So I want to call it driver 4. Okay, you can see Firefox, not the Chrome one. So let's try to import the Firefox, and it will be driver 4. Everything will be driver 4. So it will be another driver. Driver 4, driver 4, driver 4. So here instead of Google's, maybe okay, open Rediff in the Firefox. So let's try to change it to Rediff. Okay, so you can see, right, I have written 4 different methods. One is Facebook page. I am creating a driver which is driver only instance. I am setting the Chrome properties, opening the page, getting the title, quitting it. Another one is I want to open it in another driver for the Chrome browsers, right? And for the Google page, I want to open the Yahoo for the Chrome browsers with the another driver called driver 3, and then I want to open the Rediff page in Firefox browsers, which will be driver 4. Now if you want to run it from the test.xml file, so nothing will happen. or one test case it will be running one by one. Okay, because I did not use any parallel definition here in the testengine.xml file. Though I have mentioned 4 different instances, one 3 is for Chrome driver and 1 is for Firefox driver, but it will still execution will be done here one by one. So first it will go based on the alphanumeric order. So Facebook will go first, and then it will be the Google, then it will the Rediff, and then it will go for the Yahoo, right? So Rediff will be Chrome, Rediff will be Firefox, right? Rest will be Chrome. So it will be running one by one. So it will try to open the Firefox browser now, where it will try to enter the URL for Rediff page. So it is taking some time to launch the Firefox browser. You can see it is opening the Firefox browser. So I am not doing anything. All the programs, all the method will try to run based on the alphabetical order. It will enter the Rediff URL and it will get the title of the Rediff, and it will close the browser. After that, the last method it will try to run it, which is Yahoo, in the Chrome browsers, not in the Firefox. So out of 4 projects, 3 is in the Chrome and 1 is in the Firefox. So it is running the Chrome browser. It will pass the URL for Yahoo, and it will, once the page is loaded, it will close the browser, and you can get the titles as well as whatever output you want to print in the console, you will get it. So 4 methods will run successfully, but they are running in sequence, not in parallel distributed way, because I have not defined the parallel equal to true at the class level or at the method level. So it is loading the page. Once the page is loaded, it will take the titles and it will quit the browser. Okay, you can see 4 test cases has been passed and they are running on the alphabetical order: open Facebook, open Google, F, G, R and Y. So nothing is failure, and you can get the title for each and everything, right? Yahoo, you can get the titles, you can get the title for Rediff, you can get the title for Google, you can get the title for Facebook. So this is the 4 class executed. Now if I want to run them parallel way, so what we need to add? Simply you need to add parallel equal to methods and thread count. You need to add it in the suite level, apart from the name of the suite. Now you can see this is the test name, suite name it is coming, this is the test name it is coming. So I can change it, testng parallel, testng parallel testing, and here I can give it name equal to parallel test execution, and here I will add few more important parameters. One is parallel equal to methods equal to method labels, and then I will be giving another one with thread count equal to, suppose if I want to use 4 test case, I want to give it 4, I can give it to 4. So that is the simple thing you need to add at the suite level. Now it will be method labels and thread count equal to 4. Now try to run it from the testng.xml file after saving the testng.xml file, and see the execution will happen in parallel way. At the same time 4 driver will open, because we have used 4 driver 2, driver 3, driver 4 instance, and we are using 4 thread, so it will try to work in a 4 way. Method is equal to parallel. You can see it is trying to run simultaneously, right? You can see 1, 2, 3, and Chrome browser will also, you can see 3 Chrome browser open, and it will open another also, the Firefox browser. So, and it will try to execute parallelly. So Facebook is working, so that it will take some less time into the real time execution. Google, Yahoo done, and after that it will try to open the, parallel it will open the Firefox browser as well. In different browsers, right? It is opening. You can see it does not complete it, but still it is opening the another Firefox browser. So it is working parallelly. Instead of sequential way, it will try to run in parallel way, and it will also give you the result same way, but it will take really less time. So that is the reason parallel testing, you can see both the browser is working simultaneously. It is really useful to reduce the overall test execution time, and if execution wise there will be no impact. Everything the same way it will try to do the execution. Ordering everything will be same, but it will take less time and it will save some time for the test execution. So in case there is a time crunch, so we can do the distributed parallel testing using multiples. You can see the alphabetical order is still same, right? And here if you go upstream, right, you can see, right, only one collection port allowed, so it is opening simultaneously, right? Chrome diver started successfully instead of giving you the result. You can see everything started successfully before giving you result. So all the browser open, right, and you can see the output is coming parallelly. Okay, so that is the beauty of parallel testing in Selenium WebDriver. So that's why in case you are giving thread as true, so only through two thread will try to run it. So it will try to pick up two test cases. Once those is completed, then again once the thread is free, it will try to take another test case. Okay, in case you are giving thread count is 6, but it will not change the speed, because only maximum requirement of thread is 4 for the 4 test case. If you give it 6 thread will not execute all the test, because only test case is here 4. So there is no requirement of multiple threads to run a single test case. Okay, similarly methods, you can give it test or should like that. Okay, so that's why you can do the parallel testing. So any questions?
No, this was clear.
Okay, very good. So I'll be closing everything. So this already solved all the topics for TestNG completed. Now I will try to start with Maven. Okay. So what is Maven and why Maven is required? So you already see whether we are creating a normal Java project, whether we are creating a TestNG project, right? So we have to associate the jar file manually, right? Here you can see we are associating TestNG with the help of add library, right? We are associating it manually. We are associating the Selenium standalone jar files with the help of add external jars. We have added that HTML unit drivers manually also. So every time that manually adding is required for the normal Java project, right? Whether we are using TestNG class or Java class, that does not matter. But because we are creating a Java project, so every time it is required to add manually. But now say TestNG, whatever file we have added, right, 6.14, now it got changed to 7.01 and 6.14 is not working at all. So what will happen if you create a if you want to run the existing classes, it will throw some error. Now say Selenium server 3.14 instead of it upgraded to like 4.01 or 4.12. So whatever code you have written, it will not work because your jar file got changed, version got changed. So what you need to do, you need to remove those, you need to download the latest version and you need to again manually add here, right? So again manual intervention is required in case you are having so many dependency. So every time you have to change white spelling and you need to delete the previous one and you need to add the latest one, right? So there is a time consuming and sometimes you will not able to get to see why it is failing or like that. So to avoid this, we can create Maven project where you no need to manually associate those jar file. Instead of that, we can add dependency. So in case the version is getting changed, we will just update the version. So automatically it will update the relevant dependent jar files automatically. There is no need to update anything manually. Okay. So Maven is used to define project structure, dependencies, build and test management. Okay. So Maven is a build validation tool. So in case any new build is coming for any of the dependents thing, it will automatically update in case you are just changing the version number or dependency. So using POM, right, .xml files which is available in the Maven, one can configure dependencies needed for building, testing and running code. Maven automatically download the necessary file from the repository while building the project. So a repository I will tell you, but still there is a 3 type of repository available: local repository, remote repository. Okay. So first it will try to update from the internet, and once it is uploaded, it will create a repository in the local, right? That is called local repository. So next time in case also internet not available, it will take everything from the local. That is the reason Maven is really important in the market. Okay, and with the help of Maven, without an internet also you can try to execute few of the test cases which is not completely dependent on the website. Maven is a dependency management tool. To execute the framework, we need the jar files. Maven helps the user to keep the up-to-date jar file on the framework. During runtime, the Maven will check the versions of the jar file present in the local systems and compare it with the pom.xml file. Okay, suppose say I have given 3.01. So automatically once it update the project, it will store the 3.01 in the local repository. Okay, but in case I am again updating with 3.12, so first it will try to tally whether that particular relevant jar file is available or not in the local. In case it is not local, then it will try to update it from the internet. Okay, if the latest version is available online, then it will download them automatically and replace the local version and execute the framework. If there is no internet connection or if the latest version is not available, then Maven execute the framework with the jar files available in the local system. So that is the one important advantage of the Maven. It provides build success message in no compilation issues in the framework, or it will provide build failure message. So this is a 3-step process to execute program in the Maven framework. We need to first install the Maven, we need to add the dependency, we need to execute the framework. Okay, we need to follow the 3 important steps to install Maven in the Eclipse. In case it is not there, but in case you are using Luna or other above version, so by default Maven already installed in their Eclipse. If not, this is the below step you need to follow. First, you need to open the Eclipse. In case it is a Luna version, so by default it will be available. Otherwise, just click on the help button and then click on the Eclipse Marketplace option. Then it will open some page. It might take some time. Okay, you can see this is the Eclipse Marketplace open, right? If you go to the install section, so you can see the Maven is already installed here. It is above the Luna version. Otherwise, you need to go to the search one and into search with Maven, and you need to install it manually. After it is installed, it will be available in the install section. So I will first try to check whether it is installed or not. It is checking for the updates. It will first try to connect with the internet online. In case it is fine, definitely it will store everything in the project. You can see it is Maven is already there, right, for the Luna version. So there is no need. I will not adding. Otherwise, click on the search button, type here Maven and click on the go. It will be there. You need to install it simply. Click on the install now, and then you need to click on the finish. So how can you get to know, apart from this option, whether Maven is available on your project on your Eclipse or not. Click on the file, click on the new, because whatever we are creating is Java project, right? But now if you go to the others, there will be absence of available Maven. If you expand it, you can see there is options available to create the Maven project, right? So that's why you can also get to the Maven already installed here, right? To start with the Maven project, right? So in case it is not there, search for the Maven with the Eclipse, you will get the result, right? So you need to just check all the things, prerequisite, and you need to click on the install button. After that you need to accept the agreement, and sometime you need to restart the Eclipse, which might take some time. So after that it will be available, and then you can verify, right, whether the Maven is available whenever we are want to create a new project. Okay, so how can we create a new project? So I already show how. Just click a new, file, new, and click on the other, and there here you can type it here, Maven, enter, sorry, not that one, other, you can go for the Maven, or you can type a Maven here. Okay, you can see Maven project is coming. Just click, select that project, click on the next button. Okay, then create a simple project. Here you can check it, create a simple project. So by default that project location will be, you can see here displayed. Create a simple project, click on the next button. Here you need to give group ID and artifact ID. Maven project, I am giving first Maven.
This is what? Group ID.
Right, group ID and artifact ID, you need to give it here. Once you give the group ID and artifact ID, and you can just, and after that enter the group ID, and after that you just click on the finish button. So project will be created. You can see it is taking some time, right? First Maven project that is created, you can see it is M, right? For Java project it will be J, for Maven project it will be M, and you can see it is coming as first Maven project, whatever you have given in the artifact ID, right? And immediately you can see there are few folders created automatically, right? SRC main Java, SRC main resources, SRC test Java, SRC test resources, and automatically there is a pom.xml file created. So if you expand it, nothing will be there. So I will tell you whenever I will be creating a framework from the scratch, what is the objective for each and every right folder structure, how you can use it. But now nothing will be available. Okay, and here you can see all the Java dependency already added. Okay, because whenever you use Maven project, still all the Java thing will be added here. Now you can see, right, there is no need to add any XML file, sorry, any kind of file, right? Whatever we are adding it, whether it's external jars or whether it's a library for TestNG or Selenium WebDriver or anything. Okay, we will not adding it here. Instead of that, we will be double click on the pom.xml file, and you need to go to that option pom.xml. Here we will be adding different dependency before the project. So by default it will be there, and here we will be adding few more dependency. Okay, so how can we add those dependency? So we need to add the dependencies tag. Okay, first we need to add the dependencies tag. Let's try to add dependencies tag. Okay, you can see dependencies tag is coming, so automatically dependency is there. Within the dependency tag, suppose what is required, suppose I want to just create a TestNG XML TestNG project, so I will be adding TestNG first dependency tag. Similarly, in case I want to write some program with the help of Selenium WebDriver, so I will be also adding that Selenium WebDriver dependency. So automatically once we are adding, automatically the relevant jar file will be updated here. So how can I add it? Let's go to the Maven repository site, mavenrepository.com, and here you need to search with dependency. Suppose I will be searching with TestNG dependency. I am clicking on the search button, so you can get all the TestNG relevant dependency. So if you click here that options, so you can get all the versions, right? Whatever version you want to add it for TestNG. Suppose I want to add for the stable version, right? Definitely. Suppose that one I want to use, that is the it is used most time, 6.14.3. Just click on that, and here you can find the Maven dependency, right here, Maven. So just simply copy all the part and simply add that tag in the pom.xml file under the dependencies tag. So under the dependency we will be adding dependency. Dependency is that common tag, and here we can add multiple dependency. Okay, so automatically the TestNG file will be added here by default. Just you need to, after adding, you need to press save button. So also I will be adding the dependency for Selenium WebDriver. So just go for Selenium Java dependency. Click on the search button. So there is no need to add the Selenium standalone jar file. So we can find multiple kind of stuff. So I can go for 3.141.59, whatever jar file already used, and just click here. Okay, and add it in the project. Also this is another dependency.
So these versions are fixed, like we taken to add this.
Yeah, because for each and every version, so that relevant jar file will be added, relevant to that version only. So if you want to update it, if you
this Java, Selenium Java is 3.14, but the Maven dependency was 6.14.
no, this is the TestNG dependency, right? This is TestNG, another thing.
Okay.
This is Selenium Java, this is TestNG, right? For everything version will be different. The I'll showing, see, after that if you press save, you can see the building workspace, right? It is building workspace. That means it is trying to connect everything from the internet, and it will be creating the local repository, right? So you can see now, you can see Maven dependency added, right? So what are the dependency added? TestNG added, Selenium added, whatever relevant dependency based on these two files. Okay, and those you can find it into the local thing. Okay, now just right click the project, click on the properties. Okay, click on the resources. So this is the project path, and if you go to that project path, right, you can see main test, this is the two folder created, right? Java, nothing is there now. Test, nothing is there. If you go to the dot settings, nothing will be there. Workspace. So now if in case you are adding anything, so it will be available in the SRC folder, test folder. Okay, so if you open the pom.xml file, you can view it. So those have already been added, and if you can see here in my C drive, right, there is a .m2 folder automatically created. Okay, that means Maven project has been created, Maven has been installed. So if you click here .m2 folder, you can select get, right, repository folder is created, repository. If you open it, you can see whatever you will be using, all the relevant repository will be created here. So I have used so many projects, that is the reason, right, it is there. So it will try to select local repository, try to create local repository, right? Once you are updating, again it will try to update it. Suppose for JUnit, there is a folder created. Similarly, whatever thing I have used so far, like DOM4j, IO, I have tried to create so many folders thing. So it is saving in the repository. And what are the important things? So in the manually I told you, right? So in case suppose say today we have using 6.14.3 and maybe after 1 month it is updating to 7.14 and that is not valid at all. So in the normal Java project you need to remove that one and you need to install that one and you need to just replace it, right? But in the Maven, suppose say instead of 6.14.3 I want to add TestNG. Just I want to update the TestNG dependency with another version. So whatever you need to do, just you need to replace that one. Suppose say instead of 6.14.3 I'll be using maybe for 7.10. Suppose say. So just you need to simply update that one. I think rest of the thing will be same thing, just you need to update their version. Okay, or maybe you can update everything. Okay, for the TestNG. And just save. So automatically it will update. So there is no need of removing and adding it. So you can see building workspace. Right? So it is 100% success. Okay. Now if you want to revert it again, so now you can see it will not, right now it will try to find whether that is already available in the local and it will be easy, it will be very fast because it will, there is no requirement. It is already added in the local repository, so it will try to update it from the local repository. In case it is not available, it will go for the internet to find out. So I have added two things. Okay. Now say create any class in the src.test.java folder. So suppose I will be creating a Java class. Say first, I will be creating a Java class. Okay, I will be selecting the public main method, void method. I want to run it. Okay, first Maven project. Now let's try to run it from here. Java application, so it will be give you that relevant thing. Same way we can. Now if you want to run it from the pom.xml file, right? Okay, so how can you run it? So either you can select pom.xml file and you can go with, right? These are the several options available. Okay, so I can either first, in case I already run it multiple times, so I will go for Maven clean, so it will clean all the history. Then I can go for Maven build, so it will try to compile it, and then I can go for Maven test, so that it will clean, it will build and it will test. In case I am directly running with the Maven test, so it will definitely first clean and then compile it and it will try to run it in case of any error message is there or not. Let's try to run it from the Maven test. So any Maven is running with the help of pom.xml file. It will not be running, it will throw some error. Okay, you can see it is throwing some error, because in case if you want to run it from the Maven pom.xml file, you have to add some plugins in the pom.xml file, which is nothing but the Surefire plugin. Okay, so I will show you how to add the Surefire plugin. So I already mentioned, right, we can create a Maven project, we can add the dependency from the TestNG, Selenium, or whatever thing we'll be using, we'll be adding as a dependency. Right, we can create a new class, we can create a Java class, we can create a TestNG class, right? So how I can add this thing? Will be need to add Maven's Surefire plugin. Okay, so let's go to that space. Let's try to type here Sure Fire plug. Let's see whether it's there or not. Yeah, Maven Surefire plugin. So we need to add Surefire plugin. To run it from the testengine.xml file, we can add it for that one. So that kind of stuff I can add it.
Like how you are analyzing that which part of version.
No,
that
just
needs
go
to be
for the
installed.
some stables part, okay, which is used by mostly by the user. So you can see here it is used by 55, right? Though that is the thing, usage. So you can go with the usage.
Okay, got it.
So usage means it is stable version. So here also you can go with the beta version, but don't go with the alpha beta version. Go for this with some stable version. Okay. So here you can add its Surefire plugin. So that is the Surefire plugin. You can add it. Okay. So I will show you how can I add it. So here I can add some dependency for the Surefire plugin. So I need to save it. After that we need to add some build. Let's try to run it whether it's running or not after adding the Surefire plugin dependency, or else we will add the plugin. So this is dependency, not the plugin, because this is under the dependencies tag. Though it is mentioned as Maven Surefire plugin. So let's try to save the building workspace and let's try to run it. So these are the few important things you need to remember whenever you are dealing with. Only these are the things you need to add it. Otherwise, the rest of the thing will working fine. So it might take some time. This work 100% done. Okay. No, it is still not running. Let's try to run it once more time. Maven test. In case it is not running, we need to add those plugin as part of build configuration. Okay, you can see build success, right? So that means it's already run successfully, right? That is the reason it will show you build success. Total time it's taking, right? You can get it. So that's why you can, after adding the Surefire plugin, you can run a build with the help of Maven, right? Now here, instead of Java project, I will try to add a testng. Instead of Java class, I will try to add a testng class. So I will go for testng here. I can keep new testng Maven class. I am clicking on the finish. Okay. So here I can create a method test Maven test method. Okay, and here I want to print something. First Maven test ng. class. Okay, now if you run it from here, you can see it is Maven test. You can run it. You can see it is run one by one. Now it is a Java project, right? Because it is still not converted to TestNG project. So how can you convert it? Right click on the project, convert it TestNG, right? Convert to TestNG. I am whole project I am converting it. So you can see, so similar way, right? You can give the suit name, you can give the test name, right? So I can give it Maven test ng suit, Maven test ng test, and by default whatever class there is a @test annotation available, it will be added here. You need to simply click on the finish. Now you can run it from the test.ng XML file. You can run it from here easily. Okay, it is running and you can see the result, right? First Maven test.ng class. Now if you want to add the test.ng XML file in the pom.xml file, how can you do it, right? So you need to add this configuration tag, right? So let's go to the files. Simply I will be adding those build and configuration tag before the project. Before the project only, so that I can run it from the pom.xml file. So after dependency, but before the project. Configuration, let's remove that part. Build profile. No, okay, one second. So I am giving it here, and the configuration need to be added in the version, within the version, before the plugin. Okay. So that is the simple lines of code you need to add it. No need to remember, I will give you the build. Here you will be adding the plugin with the version, and within that particular plugin I will be adding the configuration, and where I am providing the test.ng.xml file path, and I am closing the configuration, closing the plugin, closing the build. So this build stack started and I am closing the build stack here. Dependency stack started, I already closed the dependency tag here, right? You need to remember, project tag started, I need to close the project tag. So that's why XML file works. Now let's save it. It will take some time. And now after that, let's try to run it, so that from the test.ng XML reference it will be running your that class. With the help of reference, that class will be running it, right? So you can first clean, if you want to go it, okay, add dependency, add plugin. So I already added everything. That's why it is coming. Run as, you need to go with run as option. First click on the clean, so it will clean the project, it will remove everything whatever was there in the last run. So you can go with the step by step instead of running at the single shot Maven run. You can see it is right, it is coming, working. Build success after cleaning the project. Okay, then you can check for the compilation. So you can need to go for the Maven build. No, not this one, sorry, cancel. Run as second one, Maven build. Okay, so from here you can't run it, but we can run it from the with the help of Maven install. Any kind of compilation thing we can run it. You can see it is creating the snapshot and it is compiling. In case of any error message is there, it will try to throw it. Okay, it is throwing some error. I think I need to remove that dependency because I already added the plugin, right? So plugin is the kind of properties I am not giving it. Build plugin management. Let me check whether it's correct or not. Plugins, then group ID I am giving, artifact ID, version I am giving. After the version I am giving configuration. Then shoot XML file, testing.xml file, shoot XML files, and then closing with plugins. Plugins, build management, and after that I am closing with project. Let's save it and let's try to run it once more time and let's see whether it's running or throwing any error or not. Run as Maven test. So this is the few important thing you need to first sort it out, otherwise it will trouble. Okay, sometimes it's even for the multi you need to run it for multiple times, same things happens. You need to no need to worry. Maybe sometime also my project did not run successfully, but I need to toggle it out and I need to correct those things. So only you can see now it is running, right? Running test suite. Okay, you can see it is run successfully. So simple thing is that only you need to add the dependency for whatever you will be running. No need to add the dependency for Surefire plugin. Instead of that, for the Surefire you need to add it the plugins, not the dependency, right? And you need to provide the configuration for test.ng file. So you can see now it's run successfully, right? How can you verify? Just maybe you can copy paste and you just paste it in some notepad. You can get the details result here, right? So everything you can see it from here, how it started scanning the project, it is creating some snapshot, right? It is trying to compile everything, and after that it is, you can see, giving the test, right? And it is giving the output, right? First Maven test.ng class, total run 1, total time failure 0, total time elapsed 2.503, test run 1, and build success. So that's way it will used to run it. Now say just try to create one project where I want to open the Selenium. Facebook page, just replace in that project. Okay. So I am giving the method name as open Facebook page. Just want to do some real time thing so that you can see whether that page is opening or not. Instead of only result, we need to import the WebDriver, we need to import the Chrome driver, class, and WebDriver interface. Now you can see error message gone. I can save it. Now I can run it from the test.ng XML file. So definitely it will run with the help of test.ng suite. But now I want to run it from the pom.xml file. So I can right click here. I can run it from the test Maven test, run as Maven test. Otherwise I need to select the pom.xml file, or I can run as Maven test. Okay. So you can see with the help of Maven pom.xml file, without using anything, I can run it, and it will trigger it will try to execute the test case. Also you can show the navigation as well. So it is creating snapshot, it is compiling. You are not able to find anything, and it is checking the malware CR file plugin already added. You can see the starting test, TST, it is running test suite. So in case we are having multiple test cases there in the test.ng XML file, it will also run it. You can see now it is opening. You can able to visualize it. It is opening the Chrome browser, maximizing the browser, opening the Facebook page. Once the page is fully loaded, it will close the browsers, and you can get the details here, right? You can see total time is 35 seconds, right? Final memory utilization, finish time, and build success, test run 1, failure 0, and Facebook page opened successfully, and this is giving the title of the Facebook page based on the test case objective. So with the help of pom.xml files, we are configuring that file and we are running it with the help of Maven test, right? So that's why Maven plays a pivotal role in the real-time framework. Okay, so the remaining sessions for the Mavens related to profiling, related to different snapshot, related to different kind of repository, I will cover in tomorrow's session. Okay, so thank you.